Imagine this. It's late at night. You're inside your home, maybe watching TV or getting ready for bed. Suddenly, you get a notification on your phone. Your Ring doorbell camera has detected motion. You open the app and watch as a police officer walks up to your front door, looks directly at the camera, and then reaches up and covers it with his hand. Or worse, he tears it down and throws it into the bushes. Your heart starts pounding. Why would an officer do that? What are they hiding? And more importantly, is that even legal? Most people freeze. They either do nothing and let the officer get away with it, or they throw open the door and confront the officer without knowing their rights. Both reactions can lead to trouble, but you don't have to make that mistake. In this video, I'm going to break down 3 critical things. Number 1, is it legal for police to tamper with your security cameras? Number 2, the specific steps you can take to protect your privacy and your property. And number 3, how to handle a police officer who refuses to leave your front door. Stick with me, and you'll walk away knowing exactly what to do if an officer ever messes with your camera. Before I break it down, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you do not miss future videos on your rights during police encounters. Let's start with the legal question. Is it legal for a police officer to cover or disable your security camera? To answer that, we need to understand something called curtilage. That's the legal term for the area immediately surrounding your home. Your front porch, your front door, and the area right outside your house are all considered curtilage under the Fourth Amendment. And here's what that means for you. The curtilage of your home has the same constitutional protection as the inside of your home. Police can't just do whatever they want there. Now, I looked for a specific case where a court ruled directly on police tampering with security cameras, but I couldn't find one. However, I can tell you this. If a police officer walks up to your front door and covers or disables your camera, that is not legal. Here's why. When an officer comes to your front door without a warrant, they are performing something called a knock and talk. This is a police technique where an officer knocks on your door and tries to have a conversation. Their real goal is to gather information that might give them probable cause to search your home or make an arrest. But here's the key. The Supreme Court has ruled that during a knock and talk, the officer has nothing more than what's called a license to approach. That means they can walk up to your front door and knock, just like any ordinary citizen. Let me give you an analogy. Think about a delivery driver bringing you a package, or a Girl Scout selling cookies, or even a politician canvassing for votes. None of those people would walk up to your front door and start covering your security camera. That would be socially unacceptable. It would be creepy. It would be a violation of your privacy. And the Supreme Court made this standard very clear in a case called Florida versus Jardines. The court said that a police officer may not exceed what any ordinary citizen would do when approaching a home. Now, let's take that one step further. There's another case called United States versus Jacobson. In that case, the court ruled that a seizure occurs under the Fourth Amendment when police intentionally interfere with your property in a way that violates your possessory interests. In plain English, that means if a police officer grabs your camera, moves it, covers it, or throws it into the bushes, they have messed with your property. And under Jacobson, that is clearly a Fourth Amendment violation. Even if the officer doesn't take the camera, covering it up or disabling it is still an intentional interference with your property. And if that's not enough, it might also be criminal trespass. Imagine a politician came to your door, covered your camera, and refused to leave. If you called the police, what do you think they would do? At a minimum, they would trespass that person from your property. The same standard should apply to police officers. Now, what if the officer grabs your Ring camera and tears it down? That's even worse. That is destruction of property. In most states, that would be criminal mischief, which is an arrestable offense. So what should you do if this happens to you? Here are 3 steps you can take to protect yourself. Step number 1, do not open the door. If an officer is outside and they don't have a warrant, you're not required to open your door. You can stay inside and communicate through the door, or you can stay completely silent. The officer cannot enter your home unless they have a warrant or a true emergency. By keeping the door closed, you are staying protected behind the castle of your home. Step number 2, document everything. If you have a security camera that recorded the officer's behavior, save that footage immediately. Download it to your phone, back it up to the cloud, and make copies. If the officer destroyed your camera, take photos of the damage. This evidence will be critical if you decide to take legal action later. Step number 3, contact an attorney. Do not go down to the police station to file a report. I have seen people do this, and when they get to the station, guess who shows up? The same officer who just violated their rights. You need to get legal advice on how to properly report this violation, whether it's to the state attorney general through a criminal complaint, or even a federal civil rights lawsuit. An attorney can guide you through the process and make sure your rights are protected. Now, there's one situation where people make a serious mistake. I often hear viewers ask, can I make a citizen's arrest on a police officer who is tampering with my camera? I strongly advise against this. Every court that has considered this question has ruled that it is against public policy to allow a citizen to arrest an on-duty police officer. If you try it, you could end up injured or worse. The only exception is if the officer is using unjustified deadly force. In that situation, you have the right to defend yourself. Now, let's talk about another scenario. What if you open the door and the officer refuses to leave? This is where things get interesting. There's a case called French versus Merrill. In that case, the police kept coming back to a man's house late at night, knocking and demanding to talk to him. The man would look through the blinds and refuse to answer. The police knew he didn't want to talk, but they kept coming back anyway. The court ruled that this was a violation of the Fourth Amendment. The officers had no right to linger on the property once they knew the homeowner didn't want to speak to them. If an officer refuses to leave after you've told them you don't want to talk, you should say clearly, "Officer, I do not consent to your presence on my property. Please leave." If you have a warrant, I will comply, but otherwise, you are trespassing. If they still refuse to leave, you may have a valid civil rights claim against them. Now, what if the officers start snooping around the side of your house or peeking into your car? The critical question here is, why are they there? If they're on their way to your front door and they happen to see something in plain view, that is generally legal. But if they are snooping around your curtilage without ever knocking on your front door, that is illegal. The curtilage of your home is protected just like the inside of your home. If you wouldn't be comfortable with a delivery driver or a Girl Scout doing it, then a cop shouldn't be doing it either. Here's one final thing to keep in mind. The time of day matters. If an officer comes to your front door at 10 or 11 at night, that does not meet the social norm standard. A delivery driver wouldn't show up at that hour. A politician wouldn't knock on your door that late. If officers are banging on your door late at night and they don't have a warrant or an emergency, that could be a violation of your constitutional rights. Let me summarize the key takeaways. If a police officer covers or disables your security camera, they have likely violated your Fourth Amendment rights. Do not open your door unless they have a warrant. Document everything. Save your footage. Contact an attorney. Do not attempt to arrest the officer yourself. If they refuse to leave, clearly tell them to leave and document that interaction as well. Practice these steps at home. Think about what you would do. When you get a notification on your phone and see an officer standing at your front door, you don't want to think. You want your hands and your mouth to know what to do automatically. And remember, none of this is legal advice for your specific situation. Laws vary by state. If you're ever charged with a crime or have questions about your specific encounter, consult a local attorney who knows the judges and prosecutors in your area. If this video helped you understand your rights when police come to your front door, hit that like button right now. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss an update. And drop a comment below. Have you ever had a police officer tamper with your security camera? I read every comment, and I will see you in the next video. Now, we just covered what to do when police come knocking, but what if they don't just knock? What if they try to force their way inside? Check out this next video where I break down what you can do to protect yourself if police try to open your door.